You're listening to Errol Parker and Clancy Overall, editors of the Betoota Advocate on Desert Rock FM.
Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate radio show. You've got both editors here, Clancy and Errol, this week, and we're excited by the podcast we have for you today because we've got what we now view as the ultimate authorities in rugby league, having listened to every single one of their podcasts since they formed the Levels podcast. It's been a big season. Been a big season for the boys. Mason Scope, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, lads.
What we wanted to do is to talk today about what we used to do is we'd sit down with the Hello Sport boys and we'd go over all the scandals. Yeah. Obviously, we can't do that now because we've come to know so many of the players and they're all implicated.
It hasn't been that many.
Yeah, it hasn't been that many.
To be honest.
The loosest ever season was 2018, right? That was like the schizophrenic one.
Who was part of that gang?
What was happening? We had all kinds of shit. It was when cocaine was just fully public in the NRL.
Like no one did. It wasn't hidden anymore.
No.
It wasn't this thing in the off season. It was just like, hey.
Is that the glory Rooster days? Like Kenny Dow's of the world?
I'm thinking, because there was Matt Lodge and shit, like real hectic, almost international news scandals, and there was so much going on.
Oh, Lodgy, that didn't help us.
Nah.
Lodgy. Yes.
Nah. That was the New York one.
Oh, was that 18?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big year then.
We did a story with the Hello Sport boys. It was like the top 20 scandals, and we went through it all. There was that one up in Newey where someone's fucking got into a fight with someone's brother and broke his leg.
That's right. I think it was Barnett.
Yeah. Makes you wonder.
Was it? Yeah.
I was away in 18. I was in Super League still in 18.
Yeah,
I
was travelling in 18, but there was a lot happening.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is talk about the narratives with you boys, because you guys know narratives. Scope, you're obviously quite a articulate pundit on all range of sports, including the ones you've played. And Mace, you have been the villain. You have been the narrative. You've big Willie era, when they were fucking hounding you. You've seen every single fucking tactic, every single fucking yarn they've tried to spin about you.
It was actually quite funny today, like watching. I think it was a little bit of a kerfuffle at Belmore.
Yeah.
Today I was like, unless there's fucking helicopters flying over Belmore with Danny Widler hanging out the side, nobody gives a shit. Yeah. You're not going to really get me. I come in there, like just walked in there, and there was like a few little cameras here and there. I'm like, this is fucking kiddies.
There's a kid.
You know what I mean?
Nothing.
I sat there to talk to Bobcat and Oga, went, do you remember that fucking helicopter coming over the top? Do you remember? Because we locked Belmore down, right? A couple of times. Fucking some scandals going on. And full lockdown in Belmore. You can't do that anymore. So they'd be hanging over the rafters and shit. It was like, it was crazy.
They'd get you for shit. Like, they'd get you for petty stuff in the end. Like,
yeah,
Willie Mason took a piss out front of the RSL.
The whole narrative, they controlled the narrative right, for years. And they end up finding, he's actually a nice guy. He's actually a decent bloke. They're like, fuck it. Yeah. He's doing a piss behind the double bay, like the sheaf, with the whole team. But I'm the only one doing a piss, right? Just real petty shit. And I was just like,
walking out of a nightclub.
Do your best. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
misdemeanor.
Yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't like hectic shit that they tried to get me on.
Yeah.
It was just like because I just wasn't that sort of person. Like I was just like a normal bloke who'd have a good time.
Yeah.
Like but then they'll be like, he's the only guy. Busted. Yeah. What was it? Spotted. Remember it was spotted? Like Buzz? Spotted walking out of a nightclub at 6 a.m. Yeah, well, I was with like 10 blokes, but they just wouldn't name them. It'd be from AFL, it'd be fucking soccer players, it'd be like, it was the who's
Royce
who.
Simons.
It was who's who of like just sport, but I'm the only one who gets named. I'm all right, I'm just that whipping boy, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck what they're saying anyway.
Do you think that their tactics have changed? I feel like they're lacking a lot of class nowadays.
Yeah.
Like Sonny Bill going to Toulon and all that kind of stuff. At worst, it was like a bit of bullying.
Yeah.
But it didn't leave that taste in your mouth. Like it wasn't like, nowadays what they're doing is a lot like what the AFL have always done.
Yeah.
Like the way they're fucking using players as punching bags is kind of like how they went after Favola or Benny Cousins or Goodsey. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now the NRL journos are doing that. And it kind of feels different. It feels like it's quite nasty.
It's not genuine.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, these guys haven't really fucked up, but they're making a case like they've killed someone.
Yeah.
Like, look what they're trying to do to Luai or to Latrell or anything like that. If they step out of line, you think that they've fucking stabbed someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look at what they're doing. They're just playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they tweet something, or they've like Luai's thing after the Origins, like the biggest thing in the world. I'm like, dude, just said his feelings. That's about it. It's pretty cheap, but that's just the way journalism is these days because they can't control the narrative.
Yeah.
So what they've got to come after you with is just like headlines.
Yeah.
Headlines.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they know these guys have a shitload of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers that support them. As soon as they jump on their platform, it shuts that shit down.
Yeah.
So like Fox Sports and the Telegraph and Sun Herald, they've got to come at you like really harsh and make it sound harsh, but it's just pretty petty, really.
Yeah. Call me daddy. That was so classic. That premiership shit the Panthers boys were doing. Yeah. But they were like, that was a disgrace. They lack class. They need to fucking this and that. Like, who gives a fuck? They're a bunch of drunk 20-somethings who just want a premiership. Like,
that's what they'd say to each other when they're playing like con games and shit, right? Like that's just part of their lingo. But it's everything's like in social media. Yeah. You've got all these fans and followers that the players have got now. Yeah. So they've got potentially 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yeah. So if you go against a Jerome Law or a Latrell Mitchell of the world, they know the media already. They've got potentially 100,000 people that are going to stick up for them
and read it.
That are going to read their articles, and then you can almost find that on the other side. So they're just chasing likes, clicks.
Yeah. And that's what.
And it's only getting worse and worse with social media.
Yeah. But it's pretty petty, like when they're only chasing the clicks, the clickbait, the views and all that sort of shit. I only sort of knew about that kind of stuff because Lukey's fucking taught me. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit about anything like that. We do our podcast to say what the fuck I'm going to say, get out of there, done.
Yeah. And because I guess you could argue you could do the fucking rage bait, which is what they do, or you could do the authentic thing, which is what you guys do. And you still get the people coming to it because that's what they're after is fucking analysis. Really, they're not after fucking. Yeah, but I think
why the levels has taken off is right. We're not shock jocks. We sit there, we analyse the game, we have a bit of fun with it. It's a bit of a serious show, but it's a fun show as well, where we're not going after the narrative all the time and trying to like fucking bag the game. That's all it is. You watch it so fucking negative when I see some of these shows, especially on like fucking 360 and shit. I'm like, fuck. I don't only watch it because Brace on it. He's my boy. All the rest of them are fucking. I'm like,
they're angry old men.
The angry old man. Like, what happened to you? It seems real desperate.
The public's almost like, amusing these guys like a drunk old uncle, aren't they? They're kind of like, what do you do?
That's the way they're viewed, right? Yeah. Like, if you listen to the comments or read the comments now and then listen to a lot of the chat, it's basically no one really takes it's more entertaining for people. No one really takes it like all that seriously, especially when they go on their tangents.
I honestly think, like, just say with Buzz and even PK when he was on there, and Reedy and all these Riccio who's on there now, I don't think they read the comments. Because if they did...
they don't know how.
If they did, but if they did and they were like... It'd be like what Hoz just said. They get fucking hammered. Because they don't... Because the 25-year-old kid now doesn't think that you're telling the truth. He knows you're not. They're not idiots anymore, right? Do you know what I mean? So if they read it, it's like, oh, shut up, Buzz. You're nearly falling off his chair. This.
Shut up, you old fuck.
There was this one. After one Origin, when Gus Gould first got his Twitter account, he's like, oh, I've never in my day read such disgusting, disgraceful things in my life. He said, none of you would say that to my face. So bugger it. I'm off this website. You can shove it up your ass.
He goes, I seriously think that the invention of social media and smartphones has been bad for humanity.
He gets so sensitive from a bloke who's been sitting at the editor. I said this a couple of weeks ago. These guys who are proper triple OG fucking journos, right? Back in the day, they were the only guys who were allowed to say something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they've probably gotten their feelings and their ego. They're like, how dare you say something, guy from Twitter who didn't go to fucking journos?
It was always a one-way fucking avenue,
It was a one-way thing. So they controlled it. He's the editor. He controls that paper forever. So all of a sudden, change the whole narrative. You got these fucking idiots from wherever they want. How old they are, who cares? Absolutely taking the piss out of everybody. And there's no rules. He's like, oh, fucking, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, back in the day, Gus didn't have to read comments from Panthers Suck 69.
It's fucking hilarious. That's what social media's done. It's given everybody a fucking little platform so they can have a crack. So either get off it or just stay off it, or just join the fucking pack.
It's interesting because it's a saturated space and not many people know what they're talking about. And we know the Hello Sport Boys, their angle is armchair experts, and that's why we love them, because they're giving us like the full kind of, sit-at-home punter view. You guys are players, and you're watching the young guys come through. You've seen it all before. Maybe there's a few developments that you haven't seen. Like maybe there's a few things in the game now. What would you say that is? Is that like
the 6 again rule? Like playing in that
the pace.
The pace.
Yeah,
and they're just becoming bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
So we're a few. Me and Mace retired similar. 16, Mace, me 19 over in the Super League. Games changed so much. Like I can't even picture myself playing in it now.
Mental thing.
And then the social media aspect of it is massive compared to nowhere near the scrutiny. Mace and Mace and like a 23-year-old Mace on social media
It's all
right now would be as good as it ever.
I'd have a million followers.
It would be Mace versus Trell for like the most polarising NRL play for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's, as I said, like it's the society has changed obviously completely. There's pressure everywhere, right? From everybody, from the club to your friends to everyone. Everyone has that. But it's the game, the pace of the game. Like Hodge just said, it's ridiculous right now. You nearly need to have like be like a heptathlete or some shit and just do a decathlete. Be unreal at 10 things. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Whereas you guys just got to truck it up or fucking.
Yeah, it was just a little bit more old school. It was like it was frenetic. It was it was fast as shit. Yeah. But it was like that 6 to go rule. The 6 to go rule. It's fucking sped it up so much, and I'm just like, we did like a percentage on like. The penalty on tackle 4 and like the next one that leads to a try. They last probably 1 or 2 sets. You know what I mean? So it's like once that rule come in, I was like, oh, because that'll hit you mentally, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been doing like defense, trying to build into it. And the next time someone goes bang, 4th tackle hit, you could either go one way like or the other. Yeah. Fuck you into your mate, or like, come on, let's rip in again. Yeah. Like you get 2 people. Yeah. And you don't know. Yeah. People might be on there for 25 minutes. 39 minutes straight, or like 10 minutes. You don't know how people are going to deal with it. Yeah. And it's a mental side of things where you can't coach that under distress. I don't know how you're going to act like because you can't coach them into this distress, right? You get a little bit like that, but I'm like, I don't know how you're going to act in the 29th minute when you've been on the whole time and old mate comes off the bench for 4 minutes and lets a couple of 4 tackle penalties in. Yeah. You want to kill him. Yeah. You don't know who you want to kill. You got to tackle, but you want to kill your mate as well. It's like, fuck.
It's a bit like what they do to people when they join the SAS. You know, like they terrorise them.
Yes.
Swimming from Watson's to Manly.
And they push you to the limit and then they break you. And then,
it's like it's hard to like train like it's hard to train like that.
We did a couple
of almost like
young kids.
You did do that?
We did a couple of army camps, but you can only, I reckon, for what you're saying, you can only really do one of them like as a footy team, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, I know Melbourne do it, and Melbourne have been the same, right? Because I did one at Parramatta, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I was like so rewarding. I went away from it going, this is the best ever. And then I did another one at another team a little bit later on, and it was the same message early on. You shit. You can't do anything. You're not a team.
You can only do it once.
And then by the end of it, you've got it through it. You know, you're stuck together. You're a fucking team. Like you can...
They can only break you once.
Yeah, you can. The second time they were trying to break me, I was going, this really been done on me 3 years ago.
Well, that's why Wayne Bennett only makes you do them once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you only need to get broken, like trying to get broken once.
Yeah.
You know in Warnie's so you get through that, and then you're done.
So in Warnie's book, he wrote about this time that they got taken, like the Australian Test cricket squad got taken to go and do a camp like that before an Ashes. And like, of course, Warnie was like, I take 8 steps and then roll my arm over and I stand at first fucking slip and I have a little bit of a bat. Yeah. Why the fuck do I have to carry a jerry can of water up a sand dune?
100% concur with him.
He was like, this is absolute bullshit. Like sure, the top 5 and probably Gilly can go and get a bit fitter. That's fine. But me...
No,
I don't need.
That's fair.
I'm at peak physical condition for what I do.
Rugby league
takes offence.
you need that in rugby league, right? Those SAS camps, you need it. But cricket, not a chance.
Yeah,
he's exactly right.
But you said last time we spoke, you wouldn't even do the preseason. When you're at that certain level, you're like, oh,
well, you do like 6 to 8 weeks, and like Wayne was the coach, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, because he knows you do the business, like you train, like you train to a certain, like your runs are on the board, you've earned that right. You're still training with the team. Yeah. You're just not doing like the full amount, right?
Yeah.
You just do what you're doing. Not saying that you don't have days off. You just have some teams, the younger kids are just getting absolutely flogged. Yeah. You just do something else to stay off your legs.
Yeah.
It's just smart.
Like it isn't like over winter they went and got like Winks out of her stable and made her do these big runs. They just kept her in good nick.
Yeah.
You've got to earn the right for that, buddy. Yeah. Wayne only gives that to the people. It doesn't matter even if you pay.
Yeah, only rep players get that shit.
10 years, you know what I mean? If you're just a toiler, you're still doing preseason.
Yeah.
You've got to earn the right. You'll be on Kangaroo Tours and played Origin and he needs to trust you.
Yeah.
Right? To go, okay, well, I trust you doing this because I know you're going to do the business on the field.
Yeah.
I played
That's
10
big.
years. I still did every single day of pre-season. Put it that way. I never got a day off.
Wait, got the nod. I want to talk now. Growing up playing footy, if you never made it professionally, which we were very unlucky to not make rugby league professionally, there's always archetypes when you're playing up. Ball hogs, obviously, we all knew about the ball hog.
Yeah.
But when we watch you guys playing and, everyone playing as a team, we see this in this way that it's presented to us nowadays where, everyone's fit and everyone's training and everyone's la, la, la. What are the archetypes that exist in the locker room now? And it'd be interesting to hear someone who's working with the younger blokes too, Mace. Like, do you have the are there bludgers still in the game?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, people who just
The
don't
guys-
do the work.
Yeah, and they're the guys that are in the system and they won't reach their potential.
Yeah, right.
Because they're there because of their potential, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they won't reach it because they won't push for it.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of guys in first year, I'm like, if you only just like really ripped in,
Yeah.
like maxed out for like every set and like a whole preseason, you could play for like Australia and stuff like. You could see that potential, right?
Yeah.
Because they're in the system.
Yeah.
You don't get to that level without having talent,
Yeah.
right? But it's the fine line when they're about 21, 22. They're sitting there like, if you really just like concentrate on like rugby league, made it your whole life, you could go like that.
Yeah.
Or you can just easily go like that because
Yeah.
the next lot are coming up, right?
Yeah.
17, 18, 19-year-olds are coming through SG ball, built like you, play like you. What's the difference, right?
Yeah.
That's
they're
the
dumber than
it's
you,
the mind,
which
right? It's
makes
the
it better.
mindset, but it's the mindset. So it's like,
IQ
so there
big.
still are. There
Yeah.
still are. There's a heap of them.
Right.
I'm not
You
even going
still
to say, it's not like everyone's like a fitness freak at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
You watch the game and it looks quick as hell and everything like that, but you can't get that many blokes that you can deal with that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of guys in reserve grade with a lot of talent that aren't willing to do the work.
Do
The
you still,
proper work.
do you
Yeah.
still have ball hogs?
No, not really, because you get on video and like, why didn't you pass it? Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's, there's no more of that. You'll get it
Yeah.
sometimes. It's like, and he'll have an excuse like, oh, I thought it was like he was going to fall for the dummy. Well, if it's 3-on-2. Like,
You get it at the
make
lower
decision.
grades,
Yeah.
but then as you
Yeah.
progress and get
Because
through,
they're trying to get noticed.
You can't
Yeah.
get better. You can't improve if you're not like playing as a
And
team.
the game's too
because-
hard.
Game's
Yeah.
You need,
Can't do it
defensively,
myself.
you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like you rely on this guy. If you're not passing the ball, maybe you won't fucking help
Yeah.
me out in the tackle. So you're going to get those guys.
Yeah, because-
but not really.
You've got to, especially with the blokes up the back and the forwards, you need to keep them happy, or else you'll get
you keep the
fucking
big boys
hurt.
happy. Especially if you're a 9, you're probably going to get more ball hogs at dummy half.
Yeah.
Because when they come on, they just want to run the ball, right?
Yeah.
And it depends when they do come on, where like just say like Cookie or someone that comes on in Origin, he'll just fucking run.
Yeah.
Quick play the ball, run. Remember Craig Wing?
Yeah.
Just fucking gets on and just runs.
Yeah.
You got to just deal with Wingy. But you want Wingy to run, right? Because you just don't know what the fuck he's doing anyway.
Yeah.
But you want those guys to attack because that's when they play free-flowing rugby league, right? And that's what you want to see from these young kids, especially the 9s. Just attack and see what you see, like the Harry Grants and Ben Hunts in Origin.
Yeah.
They just there's no foot off the gas.
Yeah.
They're just flat out, right? Which is great. Where we tried to do it a little bit. Just didn't work as good.
What about suck-ups? You still got them cutting around?
Yeah.
Or is that just too shame?
No.
They're always going to have them.
Yeah,
Every
right.
always gonna
every single like person that you're talking about, they're in the club.
Yeah, right.
Like these stereotypes. I see it. I'm like, oh,
The
what are you talk-
bootlickers.
Why are you talking to the coach for? You know
always
what I
do
mean?
that.
You
They're always
don't want to
about
fucking
3 or
talk to you.
Guys that want to be captain or want to be in the leadership group that just aren't it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they work their way towards it.
by
But
sucking
the,
up,
the, the
It's
best,
good to
the
have
best
goals.
captains, the best captains are the ones that don't want
Yeah,
the
just
gig.
get given it.
And then there are guys that you can tell that
Yeah.
just proper froth it, like want to be leaders, want to be, and then you just look at them. Even if they get announced as captain, you're like, nah, he ain't it. Just
you got him
he,
there.
he can talk for as long as he wants, but as soon as the guy starts talking,
Yeah.
then you start paying attention.
Doesn't matter if you run out first. People know like who the
Yeah.
sort of they have captains, leadership
Yeah.
group and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the players will gravitate towards that player.
So who was the unsung player from your era, would you say?
Ooh,
I
There's
reckon
heaps.
I had like Tony Grimaldi,
Yeah.
Corey Hughes, Adam Perry's.
Yeah.
Like because we had such a star-studded team, right? Big names and everything. We needed those blokes to win,
Yeah.
right? The Ben Harrises and all these guys who just like didn't get the big, the fame and everything like that. Didn't get the rep jerseys,
Yeah.
but I mean, we would never won that premiership without Tony Grimaldi. And didn't give a shit. He'd make 60 tackles and 4 fucking hit-ups. And like I'd do 15 tackles and 22 hit-ups, and Ogle would get that,
Yeah.
and Sonny would get it, and Roy and Rennie, because we had such like a really well balanced, but those guys balance us out. Like
Yeah,
Adam
yeah.
Perry, Corey Hughes, they had an attacking game,
Yeah.
but they went, you know what, Ogre, Pricey, Mace, Roy, Sonny, Rennie, Bobcat, they need the ball. And whenever they need the ball, we give them the ball. Then you got Shifty, you got Braith, you had all these attackers, right? So they just made themselves like more of a club, like, I'll just do the job to get
Understand their role.
Understood their role, and that's what you need in today's game
the
still. And those guys, we would not have won. We wouldn't have been as successful if that wasn't for those guys. And they're fucking legendary dudes as well.
Were they part of the drinking
best.
circle?
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
I remember hearing you tell Alice boys he'd been drinking in the Empire up in the Cross. And then you'd get picked up with your kit on.
Yeah, Ogre will come pick us up
with all your kit.
That's big country boy energy though. Like, you know, we told the coach
like Nigel would ring him up.
Be there, mate.
Like Nigel was the OG, right? And he's like, I'll just ring Ogre, tell him to pack us some training kit and come pick us up. Like, he lived in Cronulla.
Yeah.
Ogre. So he's coming to the Cross and then going to Belmore. If anyone knows Sydney, in peak hour, that's a 2-hour trip.
Yeah, and that was
and the Ogre would do that because he just we're all best mates.
But he had a family at that point, so he couldn't be
at the Empire. He couldn't. He left at 4 anyway, so he just had to go home to get the car and come back in.
You know, I mean, you got a bit of playing time before the rise of social media, or you were kind of in the crosshairs?
No. My last year in the NRL was 15.
Yeah.
And then my
2010 was your debut, right?
Yeah.
2010,
So you didn't have to really worry about the dog on the phone, fucking Mitchell Pearce shit. Like, you could be in a bender and lose your marbles.
Well, that was happening while we were in Super
You had to do Nate Miles stuff.
Yeah.
No, that was 09. Yeah.
So where do you guys drink in that area? That's what I want to know, because I know you guys. I know Willie, you and the Dogs of War were drinking anywhere.
Anywhere the gang was.
Yeah. So are you talking low key pubs? Because the more I think about it, it's like, who the fuck's got a camera on him in a pub?
No. If it was Northies, it was Northies. If it was Coogee Bay, it was Coogee Bay. We had Mad Monday. We had Mad Monday at Coogee Bay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's how much no one gave a fuck.
I know.
Ravisi's, we'd go down there like no one cared. Like back then, it was just normal.
Mad Monday at the pub.
Yeah, because we went from T2. And we heard Braith was at. So Braith went. So this is Sunday T2. I don't know if anyone remembers T2. All the they will. So it never closed. So it opened at 10 o'clock in the day.
Yeah.
So you had to get there at 10 o'clock to get in, and then it was probably about 2 in the Arvo, and then apparently Mad Monday was this after we won the premiership.
Yeah.
So Braith's like, I'm at Coogee Bay. Mad Monday's there. So everyone just got on the bus. We got on the bus, right? Got a bus to Coogee.
Like a normal bus.
Normal bus. 10 or 12
like
Bulldogs
a City
players.
to Coogee bus.
City to Coogee bus. Oxford Street, the 644 or some shit it's called. straight to the Coogee Bay. Got off and fucking just went. There's your Mad Monday, Coogee Bay.
The bouncer just gets on his knees.
Hey, just like, and we
please make this easy for me. Welcome.
Next minute, the whole fucking squad's there, like Folksy and everyone. God rest his soul, like the trainers and like the whole squad, like 30 fucking Bulldogs.
Yeah.
In a beachfront pub in the middle of a suburb that people live in.
In Coogee Bay. And it was like, no.
Would they look after you in Manly when you're up there?
Yeah.
We, the locals and the publicans.
For post Mad Monday celebrations, we would always hire out apartments though.
Yeah, right.
And we'd go to the apartments. But Manly boys were always well looked after. We had Stain, Wolf Bar. And we used to have this other.
Manly's got Newey vibes.
Shark.
Newcastle vibes. They look after you.
Shark Bar?
Yeah, Shark Bar.
Yeah, Shark Bar. A couple of security guards, like pretty heavies around the area, and they always looked after the boys. So if there's any dramas,
even when I was there,
no one would get the phone out, like too, because it's all like. Manly, you got to cross. No one crosses the bridge. No one leaves.
It's a bit fucking.
It's almost like you're playing
Newcastle.
Like completely invisible.
Yeah.
But there in Melbourne, you've got the issue with the cops. Where in Townsville you can be invisible, and the cops will leave you alone too.
Yeah. I played in 2010. I played in North Queensland. I wasn't invisible.
That's it. Unless you're playing for the Blues. The only football to ever get done drink driving in North Queensland was time out.
That was wild, man. That was probably one of the wildest years I've had, and that's saying something. 2016 was when I retired, but I was in Catalans. But that up there, Townsville, it's still madness now.
Yeah,
like we were up there for Origin 3, the women. Like it was just like it's the same shit. Red Dogs owns the fucking Mad Cow.
Yeah.
I told the boys, I said, we're looked after, don't worry about it. We'll go and and it was off its head.
And the old
Got the Rockets on.
and the Army boys are at the back, and the
there
young
were a
Cowboys
couple,
young guns are at the front. You're like, fuck.
No,
Please don't let them meet on the dance floor.
I remember
in the Mad Cow, they have the most antisocial thing you can have in any pub in this country. That's like those like a fucking speed bag that you punch.
Oh yes, down the bottom
to
when
kind
you're
of see
walking on
like
the
how
right.
like
you going?
We were fucking
Mate,
pissed.
I was in there 2 months ago. Like we would throw a fucking haymaker, and like 4 guys on each end of the bar would just go like this, fucking snap their heads like that, and they were like 850 fucking beer down, like this.
And then it's like, no, but it's our
You
guy.
put
And they're like, no,
$2 in
give
the
us a go. And
machine.
you're like, you've
And he just
created
goes,
a hostile environment.
And those teacups, the teacups,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I told the boys, let's
They're
get the
fucking
teacups.
mad. They don't give a shit. I mean, Darwin, Lord help us if they bring a football NRL team in Northern
they
Territory.
can't. Just leave it how it is. Maybe put one in Perth.
Yeah, Perth.
Yeah,
I mean,
They're on Perth at the moment. You've
New
changed
Guinea,
your...
New Guinea or Perth.
New
One of
Guinea
those.
would be
I
imagine-
think New Guinea, where
imagine-
they should. I've had this idea for ages. They should be based. Yeah, somewhere like Bundaberg or something like
Yeah.
that, in middle, like
Yeah.
central Queensland.
Yeah, yeah.
And you play 8 games. Obviously, you play 4 in New Guinea, 4 in Queensland or wherever you are.
Yeah.
Your home ground could be wherever it is, in
Yeah,
Cairns
yeah.
or some shit like that. And then 8 are away. So you're giving, like, I was
Imagine hitting
because the
town
fucking money, the money up there, it's a major sport, is
Yeah.
rugby league. I'm
Yeah.
like, why aren't
Yeah.
we like trying to
Yeah.
at least get something?
Well, they burn each other's houses down over fucking rivalries in the NRL. Like
I went there. There's
they're
fucking,
real fans.
There's street signs and that
Yeah,
named
yeah.
after me, Gordon Tallis, babies and everything like that. When I was over there, in 2017 or 18.
This is Gordon Tallis.
This is my kid Gordon Tallis. The whole name too. This is my child Willie Mason. That's Andrew Johns. That's Anthony Minicello. That's a whole name. And then whatever the fuck the last name is.
Andrew John Seguiaro.
That's Andrew John Seguiaro. Milne.
He's PG Milne.
Sorry, Milne. Sorry, Tane. It's the other way. It's the other
what's the other
winger.
one?
Who's the other winger?
Olam, Jossie Olam, Jossie
Genia,
Olam.
Genia.
Willie Olam. Yeah, so it's like they love it. The streets, Gordon Tallis Street, Mal
Yeah.
Meninga. There's a heap of Mal Meningas.
Yeah.
Heaps. So
Yeah.
like, they just love rugby
Yeah,
league there.
that's
So I'm
probably
like,
will be the next one. I saw Albo popping it up the other day, throwing it around. So what would that be for? That'd be 15th?
What's that for?
It's like if they do another team, it'd be 15th, which would... We're not even going to talk about the players' strike and how adding new teams constantly and new
Yeah,
exhibitions
18
and,
teams.
and new matches is fucking up the athlete. You know what I mean? Think about it now. They've got All-Stars. They've got all these incredible exhibition matches.
Yeah.
They've got Origin. They've got all this kind of stuff. But
City countries.
country...
don't back City Country. 5 City Countries I played.
But like you guys would have played a lot less matches, right?
Yeah, I think.
Of a
There was
year.
some games. There's some games. I think one year, Minnie and I played the most. It was like 41, 42 games we played.
All
So the whole
Origins
year,
and
yeah.
tests.
Origins, tests, City
almost-
countries, all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
Almost a
All-Stars.
basketballer.
Yeah, it was fucking. It was
Yeah,
pretty
that's not a
hectic,
game.
man. Like it was probably
Super
like
League's fucked up.
seven or 8 tests at the end of the year. There was a mid-year test. There was 3 Origins. It was like plus 26
Tests were
games.
big back then, right?
Yeah, like Anzac
Yeah,
throwing
yeah.
it. All right, played 9 games and then throw a fucking Anzac test at you. And then, then, you know what I mean? Like just throw that just there and then play another couple of games and then get ready for Origin.
Yeah.
It was that lucky to even get into Origin
And they
without being
select Origin through City Country.
without being busted. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Get through preseason first, then get through the trials. I mean, not many trials, but like, and then get from round 1 to round 8, play a test where everyone tries to kill you, play another 4 games, get back into Origin, and the City Country's thrown in around there as well. So
Yeah.
if you played a
they need
test,
to select
but
you.
if you played in the test, you didn't have to play in City Country.
Yeah.
So you automatically, you know what I mean? Like pretty much in the New South Wales side.
Yeah.
But still, you're still playing, right? And the test is like, it's fucking a test. It's hard. There's some of the hardest games I've played. It's a fucking Anzac test.
Yeah.
After round 8. When you think about that, it's just like, well, yeah, you guys get at least 10, 12 games and you get to play an Origin
round
game. You got
8.
to play Anzac test and then the fucking...
Yeah.
So you got 4 Origins in the
Fucking
middle.
hell, I'm surprised as well.
And the
'cause-
Kiwis just take it so
Oh, man, that's
seriously.
their test,
I
man.
mean,
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
huge. And they should bring back the
don't get
Anzac
that any
test.
footy.
Again.
They sit and
Like-
watch Origin every year and go, fuck, why don't we have something like that?
Yeah.
We get the Aussies once a year, so we might as well go harder. right?
Yeah. The Kiwis all go for Queensland, don't they?
Yeah, majority.
Yeah, they do,
Yeah.
Good on them. I want to ask now. We're going to go through the current ladder, right? Let's figure out the narratives for the teams. I want you to summarise. You can each take a we'll go team for team.
Yeah.
But I want to figure out what you guys think of each. And, Mace, maybe you don't have to say too much about doggies. If you
I'll do the dogs.
Yeah.
I'll do the dogs.
Here we go. West Tigers, summarise.
West Tigers, if they can sort out the shit with regards to Lee Hadjimentelis, the board, all the other shit. I actually like what Benji's creating with some of these young kids coming through. Uppy Carousel, I think he's close to the buy of the year despite where they finished. And they've got a good forward pack. They just need to figure out their halves.
Yeah, right.
But I think they're a big improver next year.
Okay. Mace, Dragons.
Yeah, I mean...
16, rated number 16 on the
Yeah,
low.
I mean, like they're finishing the year okay, even though there's no wins there, right?
Yeah.
It seems like they've sort of forgiven Ben Hunt. I suppose they need to retain Ben Hunt, right?
Yeah.
That's their main thing. I think they've just gone, all right, let's just deal with it after round 27. Decent forward pack, Sloan, all these young kids. They've got a decent side, a lot of talent there. Need a couple more forwards. It's hard with the Ben Hunt thing. They've gotten through the season, then they need to sort that out, and then they can move forward. Otherwise, we've said it all year, like you're going to trade Ben Hunt, you want something back. You want some sort of halves and fullbacks and all that kind of stuff. So Ben Hunt's the main thing.
Yeah.
They'll be competitive all the time with Ben Hunt.
Bulldogs. Number 15. This is for you, Scott, please.
Yeah, Bulldogs, what they're going through right now, they've got to identify who wants to be there, who doesn't want to be there. So this last couple of the week or so with, leaks coming out of the club from players or whatever it may be, we know who it is, but we're not in a position to say. But Ciro will find out who those guys are. They've recruited a couple of, strong first graders. Might not be the biggest names from other teams, but they're first graders. It sort of reminds me a bit of the Warriors.
Yep.
Mitch Barnett's, Murata Niakora's, all these guys were like 50 to 100, 150 gamers they've got coming over, so they can rebuild that way.
Mace, Dolphins.
Dolphins. It's a successful year.
Yeah.
Whatever they've tried to build, and your first year, so what sort of culture? What's the DNA of the Dolphins? What they're going to stay in 20 years?
Yeah.
Right, it's a lot of grit, a lot of determination, play for each other, never give up. All those things that you probably identify with the Dolphins right now. That game against the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
26-0 down, they come back and won.
Yeah.
Right? They got the Roosters, they were in the top 4 here and there.
Yeah.
They were in the top 8. They felt like they've used over 30-something players, probably the most in the NRL. So it's a successful year.
Titans, 13, Scott.
Titans are super talented. They're almost the same story now for a couple of years. They've got so much talent. They're very top heavy, obviously, with the new signings of re-signing Tino and Dave. It's just whether Desi can put that spin on it. They're the glamour boys up on the Goldie. Desi will have a backs against the wall mentality that he'll try to install in them, and whether that works or not with young kids.
Goldie would be a hard place to live as a footballer, wouldn't it?
It's very
It would
hard.
be harder, man. Like Gold Coast or Brisbane and that, they're all pretty... The Queenslanders are still wild.
Yeah.
You come down here,
No, but
it's boring
beautiful.
as shit.
You'd be able to do shit every day
But
that
if
you
you're
want.
like-
But
just
so
like
is
you-
the Northern Beaches, right? And Desi knows what it's like to be a
true.
nice part of the world and somehow change a narrative.
It's a beautiful place, like the eastern suburbs and everything, but Sydney's boring as shit now. You go to Brisbane for fucking Magic Weekend. You think you're going back to Vegas. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you sit there going, we've gone back in time. Like, this Brisbane and Queensland still have a good time, where in Sydney, I'm not sure if it's my age or
Nah,
not.
it's stiff,
I'm
you're
like,
right, it's stiff.
it's not as fun.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
certainly
I
no
tend to stay
T2
home a lot.
fucking 10 in the
It ain't
morning.
T2.
Straight to Coogee.
I have high standards when it comes to Sydney, right? I was in the 2000s in my prime, in the Cross.
In the
It was
Cross,
cut.
when the Cross was at its apex.
As soon as like you're coming back into Queensland and you hear
Bro, they still have a good time, man.
and you just hear the door of the Airbus crack open and you smell that
Bundaberg
holiday
rum.
fucking air, and you're just like, I'm back on fucking Queensland.
Spoken like a true Queenslander.
We can do whatever we want here. There are no laws. Number 12, Seagulls, Mace.
Tom Trebojevic, like, he's such a key. Like, as soon as he went down, it took him a while to get back. DCE took the reins. Schuster sort of come in and out. He's an integral part of that whole squad. So to get him back to where he's playing is an important role for the coaches. They've got all the pieces, the Ola Kawatus, the front row, like everything. Everyone sort of fell off by the back end, the front rows and everything. They're very important, right? But they've still got that. You've got DCE and you've got both Trebojevics, right? You're still going to make a they're still a top 8 team, right?
And the local boys are still coming through. They're so fucking
Yeah,
rowdy
they
up
got
there.
Kohler and all these young brothers coming through.
Yeah.
They've still got a team.
Yeah.
If they were stacked this year and Tommy wasn't injured, they're in the top. They're in the top 4 nearly. They would have been pushing for that because about 6 or 7 games they've left on the table.
Yeah.
Easily, and everyone can say that, but I can genuinely say that about the Seagulls. Like, how the fuck did you lose that?
Yeah.
What the hell? You got so many class players. They're very well balanced. Once their front rowers went down, people started banging through the front door. Croker can only make that many tackles. He can't be fucking taking the load all the time. He makes 60 tackles a game. He does so much work around the ruck. You know, him and Jakey too much. So
Eels, Scope.
Eels, big bounce back.
Big bounce back.
Yeah, I like them to bounce back. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for the Eels this year. From a grand
All the
final.
love, none of the luck.
Yeah, that's it. They had an awful schedule at times. They had players that shouldn't have been suspended because they shouldn't have taken a suspension. They had off-field stuff. They had Moses, Madison early on. The Moses contract that took fucking forever to get done.
Death threats.
Yes, and so a few guys that were just not household names at Parramatta have been able to play a lot of minutes this year because of all the shit that's gone on.
Yep.
So I got Parra for a bounce back.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point that they
you give a full deck of cards to
Yeah, I'm
Parra.
talking about
They're-
Bryce Cartwright had a career best year. Jermaine Hopgood was close to the buy of the year. They
Isn't Bryce Cartwright a Phoenix?
Yeah, I like Sean
keeps
Russell, the
playing
winger. I like the winger of Sean Russell.
Yeah.
So I think once the team's fully fit next year, they'll be humming again.
Yeah. What about the Rooters, Mason?
They'll be disappointed, man. Like at the start of this year, everyone was thinking top 4 easy.
Yeah.
We're sitting here going, they got to battle it out on a Friday against the Rabbits for a top 8 spot, and hopefully other things fall into place for them to get in there. Like I thought they were locked for it, and you know they didn't get off to the best starts of the year. Yeah. Everyone probably had off years. You know, like you're talking
form-wise.
Form-wise. You know, they didn't have their best years. Only a couple. When Hargraves he's 34 years old. He's your best forward, right? He needs help. Like Lindsay should be taking over him. You know, but the back end they did. You know, Brandon Smith getting injured. Sam Walker debacle. Like where does he fit in? Keary's got off to a slow start, which I thought so, because it's going to take 18 months for him to get over his ACL. Joey Manu not playing his best football. Suoliti not playing his best football. Teddy not playing his best football. Those names are fucking household names.
Yeah.
They're top. Like out of that whole, just say 17 players, right? If you're picking a top 50 right now, there's like 10 in the top 50.
Yeah.
So for them not to be like really,
Is this the first time this has happened in like 20 years that they've kind of had?
Who the Roosters?
Like if they don't beat the Rabbits at 10th, they're out.
Did they have a down year in 16? Was it 16? They had a down year and then bounced back and went. There was a year they had a bad year.
The double
just before
trail
they won.
premierships,
And they went. I think they drew another recycle. Roosters are really good at identifying who's coming to the end of their run.
It was the early 2000s, though, the Qantas Club for players.
Yeah. So, like, even the year that they beat us in the GF, right, they get Sonny, Michael Jennings, James Maloney that year.
Yeah.
The year that they go and win the comp, they get Cooper Cronk and a couple of more in that same
Victor
cycle.
Radley comes through.
Victor Radley, you know, I think maybe Angus Crichton.
Yeah,
Would Angus Crichton have been there?
Angus got the last one, I think.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
They're doing a new recycle, I think.
Okay. High hopes for the Roosters there, Scope. Number 9, Cowboys, Mace.
Cowboys, disappointing
Yeah,
again.
you guys are backing them home.
I backed the Cowboys to fucking be in the grand final.
Yeah.
Let alone, like, I think the World Cup killed Cowboys out of all the teams.
Yep.
I think they had like 6 or 7 in the World Cup, and they come back, and I think they don't know how to deal with it. They're not Penrith, where you come back into a system and everyone works together, like because Penrith are used to that, losing big numbers, coming back. That's their culture, where North Queensland's building that culture. So next year they'll be better for it because everyone who's going to be away on rep duties after this year, they're probably going to have about 6 or 7 again. Yeah. They're going to come back with a different mindset. Mm-hmm. They'll probably train them different. Mm-hmm. You know, probably won't hammer them as much, or I'm not sure. And it's hot as hell up there. Do a preseason up there, take years off your life, right? So the Nanais and all these sort of blokes who are young kids anyway, they're sort of rookies. They got thrown straight up into winning Origins and then winning World Cups. And then coming back down to earth, it's it's a rough ride, right? If you don't have the right people around you. Next year I think they'll be really made because they got the same squad. Yeah. So I reckon they'll really shoot. They'll probably get what I said this year, next year.
Okay. Top 8 we're in now. Rabbits at number 8. Scope.
Ooh, Rabbits is a big one. It's a make or break year for the Rabbits with regards to like who will be running. Obviously, the momentum. Yeah. They've been on a run now for 5 or 6 years. Whether Jason Demetrio is the guy moving forward is going to be big because
that's big. I mean, it's a tough one because it's fairy tale wise. It's an absolute ripper. 10 years since the last.
Yep.
2024. 10 years. and Whiten's joining the boys. So you've kind of got that thing going on. Narrative-wise, it's a dream. But then again, if Dimitri isn't the guy, was Madge the guy? Does it come down to the cattle at a club like that?
Well, Madge changed the culture, so they needed Madge at the time. Then it became he was too much. By the end. He ran him into the ground.
Yeah, Tio took over.
Medically retired till the greats.
Jason Demetrio is almost the opposite, where he's
coming up.
He's a players coach.
Yeah.
He's more for the boys. So whether that style works for him, we'll see. If it doesn't, it could be his last year, and there could be a change.
Window closes.
Yep.
Sharks 6.
Sharks, another team I picked in the grand final with the Cowboys. So it's Nico Hines' team, right?
Yeah.
He just needs to have Dally M's every year for them to be like competitive. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like that's how much control he has over that team. Back five's amazing. Once they lost those big boys in the middle for about 4 weeks, and they got really rolled. They nearly cost their season. Brennan, Huele, and Toby Rudolph in and out of the teams, not really consistent. Starting Royce Hunt, Finucane's out. Like you lose when you lose a guy like Finucane, he's the heart and soul of that team. Who does a lot of dirty work, man. Then it puts McInnes into lock where he's coming off the bench, which puts another probably guy who's 19, 20, number 19, 20 on the roster into the 17. Fucks up everything, right? So they needed all that sort of stuff to go right. Just went a little bit wrong. You know what I mean? But they're still going to be good. But they're still who knows? As soon as everyone's just trying to get through this shit last 27 round, right? And go, thank fuck, who we got left? As players, let's go again. Throw the dice again. I don't give a shit from 1 to 8, whoever it is. Everyone can beat everyone now. Especially because Brisbane and Penrith have had a few injuries. Sort of evened it up a little bit where from 3 down, they can beat everyone. Everyone can beat everyone.
Raiders always be a shit fight as long as Ricky's coaching them. If they're favourites, you worry about them when they're favourites, and then you're worried if you're the team that's playing them and they're underdogs. That's the team they're always going to be. They're never going to blow a team out. They're never going to get flogged by a team. They just make it ugly. They'll lose Jack Whiten, but they've still got a bunch of dogs down there in Canberra, and they find a way to just stay and get like 6. Like they're at 6 now. Is that 6 position?
Yeah, I fucked it up. Yeah, there was actually Sharks and Raiders and Sharks.
Yeah, well there you go. But look at their roster. They're not a top 6 roster.
No.
They're just
no.
They just got dogfight in them,
They do.
Just make it messy. You've got a guy like Horsburgh. When you got a coach like Sticky and you got players like Horsburgh and Young, they just fucking love shit. You know what I mean? They love it.
If you're not on game, they'll just be like, fuck, what are we playing in these?
Playing winter in fucking Canberra.
Down in Canberra, awful.
Neither of you played there, did you?
No.
So it would have just been like
just going down there like a hit and run session.
And
especially in winter, right? You go Saturday night, it's like a siege mentality. Get in there, get the points, get on the
bus, and get on the piss. Get on the piss.
That's what it was. Get down there the night before, stay there at the Crown. Get in there, try and get them. Try and get them. Even though we used to get them most of the times, you don't know what Canberra team's going to turn up. Bang, get their points on the bus straight away.
You don't even get a 7 o'clock game, eh? You get home. You don't stay.
Yeah.
On the bus 9:30. Get home fucking 1 o'clock.
And you have the choice too. You want to stay? Fuck no. Let's go.
You have the choice.
Let's get the bus now.
Knights.
Knights have been great this year. They've been amazing. I mean, probably not the whole year. What are they? 8 in a row?
Yeah. They've had a
forward
good
pack
run home.
it just seems to be all working, right?
Burner.
Seems to be all right. Like it's Ponga's team. We've said it for years now. It's his team. He's having a break. He's probably his best year he's had there ever. So therefore, they're a top 8 contender. They need to win, but in the first round. But they'll be good next year. Similar roster. Their forwards are good. They can give it a shake.
Storm.
Storm.
Super
consistent.
It really is Storm.
Super consistent. Got a healthy spine with Pappy back next year. Even though Meaty's been good, you get Pappy, Munster, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant, you're going to win 70% of your games.
Yeah, true. Warriors, this is the fairy tale, isn't it? This is the feel-good story of the year.
Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
I don't reckon anyone would have had them in the 8.
Yeah, well, Dean said it well when he said it's the star is reborn, Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's had a Dally M season. Some of their players who are just not average, but they've all had career best years. Clockstad, Niokora, your Wade Egan, You know,
they're back home with their family.
For
It's
Neil
all
Blake,
about
I think it's a bit different when they've been over here for 3 years and you don't have your family, right?
Yeah.
It's probably like that little 5% that other teams, probably more, 10% that other teams have when they've got their families and everyone watching them, and they never had that.
So
they've
they
been
got
thrown
that.
around, living in hotels, living out of their back. I've never seen anything like it, and they still managed to be competitive for the last 3 years. So when they went back home, fuck that energy. Like we were at Mount Smart the other week. The energy that they have and the love that they have from their fans.
Yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable. And that can propel them into something special.
But you see that with the fan base. You can see what fan base almost knows when it's happening for them.
Yeah, they know.
And like you saw it with the Cowboys 2015. You saw it with the Bunnies the year before that. When they're fucking buzzing, Cronulla was the same too.
Yeah.
You can feel it happening. It's 2016.
You can feel it at the Warriors. We were there, you're like, because of the COVID situation, because they've been fisted with the
borders and shit.
everything like that. You know what I mean? They have been, now it's like, boom, it's our turn. So
we were talking about stadiums before. I think, what do they get, 20,000 there, Luke? 99,000? Was it around those numbers?
No.
It's as good as an atmosphere as you'll get in the NRL right now. A Warriors home game.
Fuck, imagine being a Kiwi right now.
They're going to get a home game.
The All Blacks might win the World Cup. They'll have a fucking home game final.
That's why they're pumping at the moment, because the All Blacks have still got a little bit away. The World Cup's still to go. It's just everything's rugby league there at the moment. And then they're going to flow straight from a final series into the World Cup. So they're humming with rugby at the moment.
And then into the T20 World Cup.
Yes.
That's their main one they want to get. That's the one they want to get.
That's the one they'll win. They'll win the World Cup too, the Rugby World Cup. Panthers, Mace.
Yeah, just whatever the Panthers have been the last 4 years, really.
Yeah,
they're just fucking really good and consistent, and they bash the shit out of you. They're well balanced, well coached, and a great team, man. They're still
You
going to
don't
be
think
there.
there's much being lost in these players finally living the system that they've all grown up with, you know?
No. It's just pretty much plug in, plug out, really.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
because they have kids in the system, like they're 5th, 6th string kids that'll just come up, right?
Yeah, it's going to be hard
about
to get
5 or 6 come through together.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Now they're sprinkling them in.
It's hard. It's hard to even like. I look at just say our club, the Bulldogs. Like,
similar.
I don't see like 5 or 6 going up from SG ball to there to make that jump. Like they're singling out 8 to 10 players from Harold Matts all the way through. And about 4 or 5 will come through to the full-time squad.
Yeah.
And they will come through. Do you know what I mean? Like they come through. Like it's not like it doesn't work. They're coming through.
Yeah.
You know, all these young kids, they're tapping at the door. So you watch fucking Penrith reserve grade. Oh my goodness.
I mean, they're stacked. There's almost, some people would argue there's too much depth in the fact that there's kids that only want to play for them.
It's great.
Who are kind of being hoarded. It's great for the club, but it's kind of the game. I'm thinking about all this talent rotting underneath.
Don't worry, clubs are stealing.
Yeah, they're getting them.
Clubs are like everyone just sitting out the back of the mountains. Out of Mount Druitt trying to get the next big thing.
Like just down the road, you've got the Tigers.
Yes.
So it's like
they should be doing
they would be
better
looking over the
better
fence.
job in Campbelltown. I've got a mate that does junior development welfare there. His biggest problem is developing these kids that eventually people are going to take. You know?
That would kill you.
That's the hardest thing.
That would kill you.
And trying to price them at their, you know, because you want to keep these kids 16 to 18.
Yeah.
But teams are identifying them now and just going, fuck, give me him.
The Tigers have
17.
been absolutely hammering the last 10 years of recruits, right?
Absolutely.
And gone to other clubs because of this, right?
Yeah.
But like Campbelltown and that, there's so many players out there.
But Tigers did have a problem. I remember seeing the Queensland kids come down from Kebra Park or whatever. So the Gold Coast was missing out on those kids from Kebra Park, Miami High, local products, who would come down to play for the Tigers straight out of school.
Follow Benji.
Well, follow Benji, but then they would lose their spot to local boys.
Yeah.
And then they'd put on 40 kilos and become plasterers and stay in Sydney forever. Like, you know what I mean? There was a problem that, or they got rated underneath the fucking lineup. But I think they can't afford to do that anymore.
It's hard, man. Like just me being involved in a club, just going, it's scummy, like the recruiters and everything like that. You know, like, it's just like it's
Always has been.
And you're talking to like 12-year-olds, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're trying to see the next big thing at 12 because the managers they're the worst.
Yeah.
And like, look at footage of Payne Haas when he was like 13.
They were all
you knew that, like if you knew Payne Haas was going to be Payne Haas if you saw footage of him, what he was doing at school, or David Fafita. You're like, and he was already wrapped up and putting cotton wool for his whole schoolboys system, right? And then next minute, everyone, they're both playing first grade. As soon as they come out of high school, but they were protected that whole time.
The first like that was Carmichael, right? He got found in New Zealand as a kid and brought over to Brisbane.
Sonny was probably Sonny.
Sonny too, right. What about Broncos?
Broncos
Number 1 on the table. By the way, in my opinion, unexpected fucking rise this year. Were you seeing it last year?
No, I saw it last year. They just fell over.
Yeah, I didn't. No way I seen them where they are now, and the improvement of Reece Walsh in particular. So they've got a window now, like Penrith have had the last couple of years. Penrith are losing all their players. Broncos almost have to win this year and next year because 2024, Reynolds becomes off contract. Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh, Capewell, all these guys are on club-friendly deals right now.
That'd be so fucking good for Reynolds to get one up.
If he can, like their window is now. I've got them favourite over Panthers. I think they beat Panthers in the grand final this year, and specifically with the Jerome Luai injury as well.
Yeah, same energy you feel in the Broncos, did you?
Yeah.
Fuck, they've come a long way since all that shit about Kevy in the off-season, haven't they?
Mate, well, last year they were off the cliff like that. They were done, but just 6 weeks ago.
2 years ago they were playing pokies and half the marriage.
6 weweeks aago they were in the same position and they lost every game and everyone was singing. But if they had won 2 or 3 games, they would have been going for the top 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they just fell off. It was crazy.
And
now
Reece
Walsh is the dude.
The Ducks, Paddy Carrigan.
Reece Walsh is
so tell me, that's what I want to finish with. Reece Walsh. Who does he remind you of from your era?
I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think it's like sort of like a Billy Slater with Matty Bowen skills.
Yeah,
right.
That's
I think that's a fair analogy. I said it, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's not that good." I'm like, give him fucking time.
Yeah.
Everyone just sees a finished product with Billy Slater and Mango.
Yeah, you see Matty
Have
Bowen.
a look.
He hasn't got those runs on the board yet.
You've got to give him time.
He does run like a fucking ball of mercury across the fucking
he's
plate.
Got the same, he's little like Mango. You know what I mean? But he's got the skill set of Mango.
And that Labrador.
He fucking goes hard. Don't get the fucking good looks for you. He'll run straight through your chest.
Yeah, he's a good-looking rooster. Saw him out in the piss the other night. He was not the other night. Sorry, Kevy. It was fucking December last year, and the girls were lining up for him, and he was not noticing them.
So, there's one key indicator of how the Broncos go. It's always tied to their share price. They are the only publicly listed company.
Yeah.
If you bought $1,000 worth of Brisbane Broncos shares in the height of COVID, you would have tripled your money and then some.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
3,000 of the best.
Yeah, I know. You'd be in there. The Murdoch's still on a bit of it. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Excited for the finals. You've gassed us back up. We needed a bit of an injection after the Matildas, and now I'm across all the narratives. Let's go. And anyone listening at this who have been absolutely, like me, brainwashed by this analysis and punditry, you can find the boys on Levels. Wherever you find your podcast. Wherever you find your podcast.
YouTube, Apple, everywhere.
Guys.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. Podbean.
YouTube, a little bit?
Yeah, tube.
We're all over the tube.
Yeah, all right, beauty.
We're dominating the tube.